going to cover how to make easy money drop shipping kids toys and really kids anything on Kidizen. All right. Now, this is an easy way. It's a great side hustle for anybody that's looking to make a few extra $100 a month in profit. Last month on Kidizen, just simply drop shipping kids toys, I made $294 profit. So is that like that much money, right? No, of course not. Not compared to something like Facebook Marketplace drop shipping, where you can really scale it exponentially once you get started, right? You can do a side hustle with it if you have a little bit of extra time, or you can scale it into like a full-time income. I can't sit here and necessarily tell you that you could scale Kidizen and drop shipping kids toys on the platform into a full-time income, because first and foremost, I don't necessarily think that there's the scalability there yet, but there is potential, obviously. And also, like, I've never actually done it myself, so I can't full-heartedly tell you that you can do it as well. That said, just listing kids toys here last month, I made $294, so there is potential there, okay? Now, basically what Kidizen is it's a platform where you can sell kids clothing, kids toys, kids accessories, and literally anything kids, hence the name Kidizen. And just like I've covered drop shipping on other platforms outside of Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Amazon or any of the generic normal ones that most people talk about when they talk about drop shipping, you want to diversify your platforms, right? Because you don't want to just be attached to just Facebook Marketplace or Facebook Shops, right? Or just Amazon. You want to have multiple platforms that you're drop shipping on, even though you might be focused mainly on one. It's only smart to diversify your platforms and diversify your income stream. So if something goes wrong with one of your accounts on one of those platforms, your whole income doesn't come to a screeching halt, right? So in other videos, I've covered dropshipping on TradeZ, I've covered dropshipping on Grail, then I've covered dropshipping on Etsy and a number of other platforms. I'll try to link all those videos at the bottom of the description, but in today's video, we're simply going to be covering how you can make a few extra $100 dropshipping kids toys on Kidizen. There really isn't any secret when it comes to product research on Kidizen for me specifically, and keep in mind, like, I haven't scaled this or tried to scale this significantly yet. I've literally just had my VAs listing here the past few months or so, and last month we actually finally did like decent numbers. But again, like I said, I haven't really scaled this, so there is potential there. You can make a few extra $100 as a side hustle here, and if you decide to go ahead and scale it, you can really test it. You could probably push the envelope a lot more than $300, although I doubt that you can get it to a full-time income, because I don't know if there's enough sales velocity on this platform to actually get you there. One of the benefits of Kidizen is for some of the other platforms, like for example TradeZ or Grail, right? You can use a software like ZDrop, where it's going to copy the titles, the pictures, the descriptions, and mark your price up automatically, which makes it a lot easier to actually copy and paste products, right? So it makes it a lot easier for drop shippers, hence the fact that yes, there's opportunity on the platform. Don't get me wrong, there definitely is. But that said, there are other drop shippers on the platform because you can use software to do so. With Kidizen specifically, you have to manually copy everything, but don't worry, it'll go really, really fast. In fact, it's actually arguably faster sometimes than listing on some of the other platforms, just because of the ease of listing on the platform. But because you have to manually list and download and copy the title, or download the pictures, copy the title, copy the description, it deters a lot of other dropshippers that can't necessarily use software because of that factor. We're going to list two water guns here on Kidizen just as an example for you guys in this video, although you can drop ship pretty much anything kids associated here on this platform, all right? So the first thing that we want to cover is, just like dropshipping on any other platform, all you simply need to do is you need to copy the products from a supplier and then mark them up on that platform, right? So you need to manually copy the title in this case. You need to manually copy the description. You need to download the pictures, which I recommend a software called ZDrop. It makes it super easy. Not only can you drop ship using ZDrop on Facebook Marketplace, Facebook Shops, and a number of other platforms out there like TradeZ, like all of those other good ones like I've covered in other videos. But with that specifically, it also has this download feature where you see download main images, and you can simply download all the images on a specific listing, not just on Amazon. We're just using Amazon as this example, but download images on Walmart, Home Depot, and literally dozens of other websites, okay? So as always, ZDrop is linked in the description if you want to go ahead and grab it. It's a game changer of a software. And even though it can't actually copy the specific listings here and mark them up on Kidizen, it can still download the pictures for you. So it still helps in this aspect. All right. So we're going to copy the title right here. We're going to go over to Kidizen and we're going to paste the title in there. We already use ZDrop to copy the actual pictures. So we're going to just paste those pictures in there. You'll see them all pop up here in the downloads folder. And now we're going to scroll down. We're going to categorize this. So what is this? Well, it's a kid's toy, obviously, right? So kids toy, what's the subcategory? It's probably we'll just say kids toy. You don't need to necessarily spend a lot of time making sure that it's the perfect subcategory of the category. Just make sure that you categorize it well and do your best to pick whichever one it is. Now, I never really pick boy or girl here. I always go all genders. Why would you alienate yourself to just one gender if you don't have to? Now, obviously, if you're drop shipping a little boy's shirt, then you want to keep it in that aspect, or like something specific like that. But for most things that I drop ship, I always drop ship all genders. And most of the time it's one size as well. I don't necessarily categorize a size unless, again, like I said, you're drop shipping like clothing. And then in that case, you'd obviously want to make the size, whatever the size is, right? It's no brainer. The brand, I always leave this blank. For whatever reason, you don't actually need to put a brand here on Kitizen, even though it has this little like red thing that it tells you do. You don't. The condition here, because we're drop shipping a new item, is going to be new with tags. And we're just going to simply come back and copy the description as well, right? And with this, as I always say, when you're copying the description, you want to make sure that at the end of the description, or really anywhere in the description, it just typically, 99% of the time is going to show up in the last bullet or the last two bullets. Make sure that there's no warranty information, anything about the specific brand, or any money back guarantees or anything like that. It doesn't always happen, but especially when you're copying from Amazon specifically, you do tend to see that every once in a while. So just make sure that the description that you're copying doesn't have anything like that in there. Now, if you want to, you can even space these out to make it look better so that it's a little bit more easily readable. Again, once you get the hang of it, like after a few listings, you'll be able to breeze through these super quickly. I'm talking like less than a minute a listing, maybe even 30 seconds a listing, because you really just have to categorize it, copy the title, the pictures, and the description, and then just move through and make sure that you mark the price up. It's really that easy, okay? So with shipping here, you do need to categorize it by a size, okay? And one of the things with Kitizen as well is, because another deterrent why there's not a lot of drop shippers, if really any, on the platform, is because with Kitizen specifically, it's a lot like Poshmark and it's a lot like OfferUp. What do I mean by that? Well, with a site like Facebook Marketplace or a site like Amazon, right? You can market shipped with your own tracking number. So you can literally facilitate the sale dropship wise from a supplier, in this case Amazon, to potentially Facebook Marketplace, right? And just input the tracking number that Amazon gives you. You don't actually need to do anything other than that. With a site like Poshmark or OfferUp, or in this case Kitizen, you actually need to order it to yourself first, okay? I call this dropship arbitrage. I've covered it in other videos as well. But basically, what you need to do here is, it's the same overall business model as dropshipping, right? But instead of you ordering it from Amazon to the person on Kitizen and putting the tracking number that you get from Amazon to that person on the actual website, there's no way that you can actually use your own tracking number on this website. So instead, you need to actually order it to yourself first and then use the Kitizen label to ship to the customer, okay? And you might think like, why would I ever do that? It takes another step. It takes a little bit more of my time. But actually, because you have to do that, there's little to no competition on the platform for actual dropshippers. And the only people that are really selling things on this platform are people that actually have the items because of that, okay? And so that is a big advantage that we have, is because we can use this dropship arbitrage business model to list, thousands of listings for free on Kitizen. And then we only actually have to buy them and ship them out ourselves once we're guaranteed the sale and guaranteed the profit. So right here, you just want to make sure, the key here is that you don't want to get charged extra later for the actual label. So you want to make sure that you categorize the size first, the right way. So you just want to make sure that you figure out what the size is on Amazon. And the good thing about Amazon is it tells you the size, number one. And also the good thing about Amazon and, Walmart or anything like that specifically is like, when you actually go ahead and order it to you, it's going to come to you in a day or two max, sometimes 3, but that's super rare. And so it doesn't take long for you to actually ship it out to the customer and for the Kitizen customer to receive their item. And they're not going to know that you shipped that you ordered that from Amazon to you first and then shipped it to them. They're going to have no idea. Okay. So we're just going to scroll down to the product information until we see how much it actually weighs. It tells us right here the item weight on Amazon is 10 ounces. So it's not small because it's not under 8 ounces, but it is medium, so it's under 16 ounces. And that's what we're going to categorize that as, okay? So now the list price, we just need to make sure that we mark it up. You can mark it up 40%. That's typically what I tell people. On Kitizen, I usually mark it up a little bit more. And because this is relatively cheap, I'm going to mark this probably all the way up to like $29. So it's $15 on Amazon. I mark it up to $29 and maybe like $29.95. It's going to tell me I make $25.86 on this if I sell it. So then I'll make $25.86. If I buy it from Amazon for $15, well, that's a 16, or I guess not 16. That's terrible math. That's an $11 profit margin roughly, just for facilitating the sale and listing this on Kitizen, right? Now, just like any other dropshipping platform, like most things that you list here aren't going to get any traction and they're not going to sell. But some items will take off and some listings will take off, and then you will get sales on those items. Just make sure that you relist them because those are the ones that are hitting and those are the ones that do well. All right. And again, all it takes here is your time. So for those of you out there that are looking for a side hustle to make a few extra $100, this is another perfect one for you. Again, those of you out there that are dropshipping on Facebook Marketplace or Facebook Shops or dropshipping on Amazon or eBay, and you're looking to diversify your platforms and looking for another stream of income, again, this is perfect for you so that you're not super reliant on just that one platform, okay? And then we're simply going to submit it. It's going to save, and that's how easily you can list to Kidizen. All right, there it's listed. So now we're going to go through and we're going to create another listing super fast because I slowed that down really slowly to explain it to you. So again, remember, we need the title, the description, we need to download the pictures, and we need to mark the price up after we categorize everything. So we're going to click create another listing here. We're going to go back to this new one here. We're not going to take this because this looks like a brand name, so we're simply going to copy the rest of it. We're also going to click this download main images, which is the Z-Drop software. It's linked down in the description. I believe it's like 12 or 13 bucks a month. It's super cheap. I'm not sure what it is. It's a game changer, totally worth it. So now we have the pictures, we have the listing title, and we're going to add them both here. We're going to open those. We're going to come back. We're going to download this. Again, here's a perfect example of something you don't want to copy, right? 24/7 seamless service from that brand. We don't want to copy that. It's the bottom of the description. So we're going to categorize this. Well, what is this? It's kids' toys. We're going to say kids' toys. It's gender neutral. This size is one size. We don't need to put the brand in. The condition is new with the tags. The description's pasted in there. You can space this out if you want to make it look okay. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. And make it so it's a little bit easier to read for the customer. Now we need to figure out how much it weighs. So we scroll down to the product information. Well, it's 12.6 ounces there. So it's not under 8, but it is under 16. So the customer is going to pay $6.50 for shipping. And we're going to list this at, it's $15.29. So we'll list this again at $29.95. And $29.95 for a water gun is not high at all. So there's definitely a potential that it could sell there and I can make another $11, right? So we're going to submit it and there it's listed, right? So that's how fast you can list on Kidizen. I don't know how long that took me. Again, I slowed it down to explain it to you, but as you get going, you can list realistically in like 30 seconds to a minute per listing. So if you have a VA going, obviously it's a little bit, ambitious to expect that they're going to be able to list, 60 an hour potentially, even though you can do each one for a minute because, there's that human element there. They're not gonna be able to be like a machine and just do it nonstop, but there's no reason that they can't get 40 or 50 done in an hour and you're paying your VA, whatever it is, like $4 to $8 potentially, depending on your VA, depending on where you got them from. You can put, a lot of listings up a day for just 8 hours of work and then just test it, right? Or if you want to do it yourself, just test it, okay? So don't stop at like 10 listings because this is what always people do. Like when I tell people that they can dropship on Grail, they're dropship on Tradesy, dropship on Kidizen, they go and they list like 5 to 10 products, they don't get any sales and they go, it's not working, there's no potential there. Instead, list 100 products, list 500 products. It doesn't take you that long. It doesn't take you that much effort, or have your VA do it for you. And you will see eventually that some of those products hit and they'll continue to sell as long as you keep relisting them. You just need to make sure that you find the ones that are hot sellers, just like any other platform, but in this case, Kidizen, all right? So that's how you drop ship toys on Kidizen, and that's how you can make an extra few $100s a month drop shipping toys on the platform.